Good morning and welcome to all into this class about explosives. We are not going to learn technicality of explosives, neither we are going to learn how to make an explosive or technology. What we are going to learn is law, the pure law. We have learned explosives or explosions as a subcategory of disasters, a category which is human-made disasters or man-made disasters. Within that, the explosives becomes a subcategory. Almost every explosion takes place because of human activity. Human creates explosives or creates explosive situations and things goes explode. There are various acts which governs the explosives in India. Acts, rules, regulations, there are many. A combination of these acts rules the regime. The major one are the Explosives Act 1884, the Explosive Substances Act 1904, amended by the Amendment Act of 2001, Petroleum Act 1934, the Atomic Energy Act 1962, Static and Mobile Pressure Vessels Unfired Rules 1981, Atomic Energy Working of the Mines, Minerals and Handling of Prescribed Substances Rules 1984, Hazardous Waste Management and Handling Rules 1989, the Gas Cylinders Rules 2004, the Petroleum and Natural Gas Regulatory Board Act 2006, the Explosives Rules 2008, and the 11th one, Hazardous Waste Management, Handling and Transboundary Movement Rules 2008. Let us study one by one the important aspects of these acts and rules, so also the regulations in handling these explosives, which mainly are preventive with respect to the disasters are concerned. In the next slides or in the next 1 hour, let us understand the major aspects of this legal regime so that we are familiar with this. What is explosive is a fundamental question. An explosive is a substance or a device that produces a volume of rapidly expanding gas that exerts sudden pressure on its surroundings. In a common parlance, we very well understand what is an explosive and what is an explosion. We are mature enough to understand its implications. But in a technical way, it says that it's a rapidly expanding gas that exerts sudden pressure on its surroundings. An explosive substance is a solid, liquid, or a gaseous substance, or a mixture of anything given, which is in itself capable by chemical reactions of producing gas at such a temperature and pressure and at such a speed as to cause damage to the surroundings. Here it's defining only chemical reactions, but the modern technology has taken it much beyond that. Even a nuclear reaction is there. It is not a chemical reaction, and physical reactions are, especially the compressed gas. All those things are existing. Pyrotechnic substances are included even when they do not evolve gases. Pyrotechnic substance is a substance of mixture of substances designed to produce an effect or by heat, light, sound, gas or smoke, or a combination of these as a result of non-detonative, sustaining, exothermic chemical reactions. The terminologies are more of a technique and science, and not of much relevance while we are learning the law. Anyhow, we need to understand this. Now let us understand the terminology explosives in some more close understanding. The use of word explosive can have different meaning and interpretations. Reference to an explosive or explosives is commonly understood to mean substances or articles in class 1 of the scheme of the UN recommendations on the transport of dangerous goods, that is, those which are intentional explosives or have properties which, when assessed under the test procedures of the manual test and criteria, place them in UN class 1 of scheme. The description explosive can, however, be used to describe a property as such. It encompasses a wider range of substances than just those in class 1. However, in the above definition, explosive refers to explosion hazard of substances and articles and is not limited to those which would be placed in class 1 of the UN scheme. As I told you earlier, the class of explosives comprises mainly three categories: explosive substances, explosive articles, substances and articles not mentioned in class A and B above, which are manufactured with the view to producing a practical explosive or pyrotechnic effect. There are three common types of explosives: chemical, mechanical, and nuclear. Mechanical explosions are physical reactions. For example, the effect of compressed gas, even the LPG cylinder, what we use in our kitchens. It's a common one now. Every village, every household has been provided with one LPG gas cylinder. It's an explosive. It's a compressed gas. There are various occasions where we have seen that LPG gas cylinder is exploded. The history of explosives seeks a short mention at this level for basic understanding. It all started with black powder, which is widely reckoned as the first explosive known in modern world. Black powder, also known as gunpowder, is a mixture of sulfate, potassium nitrate, sulfur, and charcoal or a carbon. It originated in China around the 10th century and was used in fireworks and signals. Being a mechanical explosive that is messy, black powder was eventually replaced by cleaner, smokeless powder explosives. In 1831, William Beckford, an English leather merchant, invented the first safety fuse. Using a safety fuse made black powder explosives more practical and safe. In 1946, Italian chemist Ascanio Cebrero discovered nitroglycerin, which is a chemical explosive. Nitroglycerin is a mixture of nitric acid, sulfuric acid, and glycerol. In 1846, chemist Christian Schonpay discovered nitrocellulose or glucotone when he accidentally spilled an acid mixture on a cotton apron and the apron exploded. It then goes into finding of a TNT in 1863, or trinitrotoluene was invented in Germany by a chemist Joseph Wilbard. It is considered a high explosive. Even in modern times it is used. TNT. PETN, PETN stands for pentaerythritol and is more powerful than TNT. It is capable of exploding small devices, and so is used as the core of detonating caps and fuses. TNT and Python mixed together is known as pentolite. In modern world, it is widely used. In 1865, Albert Nobel invented the blasting cap. The blasting cap provided a safer and defense of detonating nitroglycerin. Even in modern warfare, this, blasting caps are used. Dynamite was invented by Alfred Nobel in 1867. Nobel developed Nobel developed straight dynamite and a blasting gelatin. Dynamite is an important industrial explosive used in blasting out dam sites, canal beds, mines, quarries, and the foundations of large buildings. It's also used for demolition of enemy warfare in enemy territory during war. In 1888, Albert Nobel invented a dense smokeless powder explosive called ballistite. In 1889, Sir James Devor and Sir Frederick Cass gunpowder called cordite. Cordite was made of nitroglycerin, glencorton, and a petroleum substance gelatinized by additional acetone. Let us look into the legislations to maintain safety standards and punish violators of rules and regulations are adequately put in place by the Government of India. In order to administer the responsibilities delegated under the Explosives Act 1884 and Petroleum Act 1934 and the rules made thereafter related to manufacture, import, export, transport, possession, sale and use of explosives, petroleum products and compressed gases, Petroleum and Explosive Safety Organization was set up by the Government of India. PESO is currently involved in regulating over 256,000 premises all over India. 256,000 premises are under the control of PESO, Petroleum and Explosive Safety Organization. Despite precautions, accidents do happen, unfortunately. Explosives cause widespread damage and destruction. These may be accidental due to negligence or intentional, like terrorist and antisocial activity. Omission or commission can lead to this. The following legal enactments go a long way to curb the harm caused or threatened to be caused by use of explosive for destructive purposes. Let us understand the major acts, rules, regulations, and their substantial provisions in the following clause. Let us understand the Explosives Act 1884, which was enacted by the British government. Objectives of the Act and the scope of the Act are discussed as below. The Indian Explosives Bill, having been passed by the legislature, received its assent on 26th February 1884 and came in the statute book as the Indian Explosive Act 1884. By Section 3 of the Indian Explosives Amendment Act 1978, the word Indian was omitted and now it stands as the Explosives Act 1884. This act contains 18 sections. 18 sections. The act was extended to regulate the manufacture, possession, use, sale, transport and importation of explosives. It extends to the whole of India. In Ramachandra Singh versus State of Bihar, 1961, it was observed by the court that when an offence falls under the Explosives Act and the Explosive Substance Act, accused cannot be convicted under both the acts. Thus, failure to obtain a license for possession of explosives and explosive substance bring an accused under the mischief of both the acts, but conviction under both the acts simultaneously is improper. This is in consonance with the well-established principle of criminal jurisprudence, which is known as double jeopardy, protection from double jeopardy, which finds a place in our Constitution also as a fundamental right, Article 20, Clause 2, which reads, "No person shall be prosecuted and punished for the same offence more than once. No person shall be prosecuted and punished for the same offence more than once," which is a protection against double jeopardy. Again, coming to the Act with respect to the definition of explosives, the Act defines explosive as gunpowder, nitroglycerin, nitroglycol, gun cotton, dinitrotoluenetrine, trinitrotoluene, picric acid, dinitrophenol, trinitroresorcinol, and so, which all are technical in terms. So it's not of much use for us for academics. It further reads colored fires or any other substances, whether a single chemical compound or a mixture of substances, whether solid or liquid or gaseous, used or manufactured with a view to produce a practical effect by explosion or pyrotechnic effect, and includes fog signals, fireworks, fuses, rockets, percussion caps, detonators, cartridges, ammunition of an all descriptions, and every adaptations or preparation of an explosive as defined in this clause. Let us understand one judicial decision. Allahabad High Court, Kifayatullah versus Emperor, AER 1931, Allahabad. Patakas is not explosive. It decides no license is required for its sale or manufacture under the Explosives Act. It doesn't mean that it doesn't require any licensing, but under Explosives Act it doesn't need any licensing. The Explosives Act empowers the central government to prohibit the manufacture, possession or importation of specially dangerous explosives. Section 6 of the Act empowers central government. The power of central government has been exercised to prohibit the manufacture, keeping, importation, conveyance and sale of some explosives which is dangerous in character, expedient for the public safety, except with the consent of and subject to conditions approved by the government inspector and of other states unless specifically licensed by the Secretary of State for Manufacture and Importation and named and defined in the list of authorized explosives. Let us understand one Supreme Court decision in Lobchand's Naroji versus State of Gujarat 2004. It's a very latest judgment. The court observed that the prior sanction or consent as contemplated by Section 7 of the Explosive Substances Act 1908 is not required for prosecuting a person under the Explosives Act 1884. So the accused cannot take the plea that the prosecution of the accused under the Explosives Act 1884 without prior sanction of the central government is not maintainable. Both acts need to be read separately. Though one person cannot be prosecuted under both the acts, but when a person is being prosecuted under one act, he cannot take advantage under the other act. He has to confine himself exclusively to that act. Let us look into Section 8, Notice of Accidents. It is incumbent on the occupier of the place or the master of the aircraft or vessel or the person in charge of the carriage to give notice of the accident or accidents to the Chief Controller Officer of Explosives, the officer in charge of the nearest police station. It's a statutory duty upon these persons. Any person who is the occupier of a place under whom or within that premises, if an accident takes place, explosion takes place, he is duty bound to inform these two persons: the Chief Controller of Explosives, the officer in charge of nearest police station. Section 9 of the Act describes about inquiry into the accidents. Any inquiry into the accidents shall be held in accordance with the rules to be made by the central government. Where any accident occur as referred to in Section 8 in connection with any place, aircraft, carriage or vessel under the control of the armed forces of the Union, an inquiry into the causes of the accident shall be held by the Naval, Military or Air Force authority concerned. Any other circumstances, in cases attended by loss of human life, the district magistrate, a commissioner of police, or a magistrate subordinate to a district magistrate holds an inquiry. The person holding an inquiry under this section shall make a report to the central government stating the causes of the accident and its circumstances. Section 9b was added later, which states about the punishment of certain offences. Any person who contravenes the provision of Section 8 shall be punishable with fine which makes to 500 rupees, or if the accident is attended by loss of human life with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 3 months or fine with more. In State versus Ismail Shako, Bombay High Court held it was observed by Bombay High Court that mens rea is not necessary for the offence under the Act. Guilty mind or an intention is not necessary to be proved. It is only need to be proved that an explosion has taken place. Thus, and it is within the control of a person. Thus, stoking of prohibited explosives is punishable no matter there is an intention to do wrong or not. Mens rea is not an essential ingredient in Explosives Act. These Have a nice day. Take care. Thank you.